one more comparison if you're interested very much to compare computing, or you find your price to value satisfaction is not what you expected. But I always say that each branding of computer, if you are very observant and very step by step, I think each branding can achieve your expectations. So for example, over here, you might think that they have more ports over here on the left side and they have less over here, but it's only because the camera and the printers had an extra indication. So the camera over here, I thought it was at software devices, and it was at imaging devices. So that's how it is. And if you want to look into USB ports, there's a universal bus ports. So yeah, it's here, and you can link it out and have a printer icon. So these are more back in the time when there was no internet to download softwares, but these are some fundamental that you might overlook. And when there are issues and you have a busy schedule on your days, and then the children have to go to school in the morning, you have to pack their lunch boxes the night before, 3 o'clock they get out, and they don't know if they are riding the school bus or they are coming to your chauffeuring, and then you have all these phone calls and emails and faxes. Then sometimes it's easy to just give it to a technician. Yeah. So hopefully everyone understand that computing is not too hard. It's just a mapping out of the system and understanding where the controls are. So control panel is at settings, to control panels, only one panel, control panel. And understanding the control panel enables you to understand what you can achieve on a computer. Alright? And excuse the pictures. Alright. Hope everybody enjoy and know the price to value is there. The speed of the computer, right now Intel is going from i3 to i5 to i7, and they newly came out with i9. Why does it jump 2 and then 2 and then 2? I'm not sure. So that might be an inside information. And then as far as AMD, for gamers, there is a comparable chart. And those are the main two kinds of chips. AMD compared to i9. Intel i9. And let's see a chart, hopefully. Hey, right there. The i9 is equivalent to not much here, but that's the comparison chart. Oh, so they have the Ryzen chip for gamers, probably 3D games. So I gotta go on Google. And I'm not telling you to upgrade. You can upgrade. some computers, all it takes is a chip taken out and then put the newer chip in, but the plugs on the back have to be exactly the same number of connectors. Chart. Hey, who's that? I'm trying to keep updated with the Lenovo IBM news. So here's a comparison chart. The Radeon HD widescreen performance is not what we're looking for. Against Intel and AMD second generation versus Intel. So this is one that might be. Alright, so this is the speed. How many hertz per second or per minute? And then comparing this, AMD is faster. So the Ryzen is a part of AMD. Would they ever go independent? No, probably. Yeah, but that's for gamers. And when I first started computing in 1990s, for some reason, the Intel was faster, and there were PC games, and then more and more gamers and just really good games came out, and AMD became much faster processor than the Intel. That's all. Okay, let's see. What other charts do they have? The factors that can affect the speed of these processing chips is how many softwares you're running at once. So you go Control, Alt, so on the right hand side, Control, Alt, Delete, and then you pull up the task manager, and then you can see, excuse me lady, so right here you can see how many operations there are. Right now, this moment. So what you do is that you can look more into okay, that's the performance, app history, startup, user, details, service, go to processes, and then the apps. You can always know what is already on screen, and then the background process. That's the key point. That if they are very high consumption here, for example, this one, we have a anti-malware service executable. So that's the one. And excuse me for sounding a little down. It's 2 o'clock in the morning, and I have to wake up at 7. So are these all background? Yeah. So for example, you can close some of these, but I have such high memory on this. It was to the max, basically. You can only have up to approximately 16 gigabyte per RAM slot, and then I maxed it out, 2 slot of 16 matching. So let me see if there might be more than 16 gig RAM now this year. Notebook, RAM chips higher than 16 GB, and then you can just say price. So that's how I search. Okay. Probably not, right? And you can go on these websites, or you can compare over here on Wiki. And on Wiki, you just go RAM chips. Hey, what happened? RAM chips, random access memory. And in this situation, I usually look into the presentation of Wikipedia rather than WikiWad, because it's more condensed and more a statistical format. Or can I try to control this? Alright, so click here. Down to where it says numbers. Alright, so each one of the generation is different. I've been buying notebook computers for a long time. Some chips are on the side, the insert and the breathing or the pausing space. Some of it is manufactured in the middle. Desktop RAM with an adapter can use on notebook computer, and right now they have generic branding ones that I'm not sure how they potentially be credited for. Any RAM that is over 16 gigabytes. Maybe this one. So these are, when they say 1600 and they go over, these are possibly more. So you have DDR4 that is 32 per chip, I guess. Memory scrambling. What example? Alright, so for example, the latest is DDR4. Gigabyte. And okay, so the 2133 doesn't mean going up to the multiply by 2 or 4 gigabytes. So you can go on shopping websites, for example, Newegg or Best Buy, and look for chips. Say, hey, they send to they often send to Asia. That's good. Alright. RAM. And looking for notebook. Highest is 16.8, 16.8. Was it 16? So I think the most they go up is 16. Ha ha! We got the 32 gig. So starting when? We're gonna look this up. When did this come out? Read fast. Only scan the text for 2 letters. GB. Okay, so that's all. Let's see when this came out. And it jumps from. It is a double up kind of calculation. So when it first came out, they have the RAM chip that were 2 possibly, and then 4, and then 4 to 8. 8 goes to 16. I've never seen 12 yet. Can they make 12? Yes. But do they popularize and mass produce 12s? No. So when did this came out? So this one, the Air EM copy. DDR Dream. Open a new tab. And this one, open a new tab. So back to here, the release date. Okay, so you have these. Okay, so it goes as low as 2 GB, so that's a hint back then. So if you look at the most original self-assembly, say PC, PS1, MS-PS1, RAM slots. Okay, so it was less than 2 GB back in the time, and I remember it went as low as one. It was less than 244 RAM, and they were going by hertz. HZ 244 RAM. How did I get to? Yeah. So it was 144 versus 244. That was back in the time. And now you see that the computers are just so automatically programmed and it just fast. I mean, you're talking about 1,000 times faster, maybe. Excuse me, let me do that calculation. Calculator. So, for example, if 244 was equivalent to 1,000, and then you're having one chip at 32, so 32 going there is that. Divide by 244, and that's 100 times, 130 times. And when I say 1,000 times, I mean in a split of a second, you can only process so much with your human brain. So to me, it's 1,000 times. It's like going from the Earth to Mars. They don't even count how much time. They say how many light year. Yeah. All right. So here, and here, and the release date. How do I find out the release date? I'm gonna show off one time. You discover when the web page was designed or written or loaded onto the internet. What's his website? Sugar C11S 32 GB price. Alright, so that's another thing. So I'm preparing for next year computing. There's a difference between total of 32 GB RAM and one single slot worth of plug-in of 32 per piece. Why is Mac a little bit slower release than IBM? That's another affordability issue. I mean, talk about affordability. What computers are not affordable, right? I would say the bigger screens. Have you seen this one, for example, is 15-inch from here to here. Alright, that's cm. Double inch. So it comes up to here is 12. And here, 3 more. That's 15-inch. The expensive laptop goes up to 21-inch and 19-inch. What are they for? They are for accountancy Excel notebook. So for example, let me show you. 19-inch notebook for Excel. Excel is a Microsoft Excel, so let's put M as Excel. And that's just a lot pricier. I don't know why. I say about 50% or 30% more. Yeah, so that's what it was. And for example, maybe they go up to 21-inch. And you ask me why I'm so patient knowing these things. The profit margins and the price that you can save for entire enterprise is a one big New Year event. Laptop. Or you can say compared to for spreadsheets. I think they prefer to say spreadsheets. Spreadsheets. Alright, so it looks something like this. If you compare. The smallest computer I ever bought was a Sony. Yeah, Sony Vaio 7 series. P series. So it went as small as this, and you could HDMI out to a big screen. So that was the gadget at that time. Nowadays, there can be a separation of the screen and the keyboard, and you can write on the tablets, or write like a tablet PC. So let's look at the release date again. A 32 gigabyte of RAM chips. Release date. Launch. That's another word. Launch. Launch. Consumer market. Double the capacity and attack. Okay, so it goes at least as far as 2018 November. So it's only a few months ago that they have released this. And then you might skip to page, say randomly in the middle, page 5. So yeah, it's probably something really new in 2008 release. So that's how you know if your store or your computing stores are up to date with all the latest releases of consumer market consumption on computing chips. Why are some things not in the consumer market? Number one, because there is already inventory for the next school year. Remember, most people buy computers for schools. And then, in the corporate world, most people know how to upgrade parts and upgrade software, or sell to another, say, third world country, nation, and for example, writing on the screen, or the ability to draw or play games might be a distraction for your work days. So depending what your position is at the corporate settings and your needs, and that's the computers you get. I've seen people without keyboards, only mouse for editing. I've seen people only with piano keyboards on computing. So that's just minimizing chats and minimizing your distractions at work. Alright, so without trying to brighten you up too much at this morning hour, this was my demonstration that there was the RAM chips. Yeah, so, wow, yeah, really good. If there might be higher than 16. Because most notebook computers are only 2 slots. Alright, so it's either kind of in the middle or more to the side, like this, or to the middle. It's not exactly to the middle. I've seen exactly to the middle, but approximately, and they have a wider width. Alright, so you have to discover your RAM chips, or you can buy one and take it out, or you can ask your salesperson, or you can look up specifications. So for example, Lenovo, the one that you order, and you can order one after another. I guarantee you it'll come up on the internet. You place your order on, say, Dell.com or Apple.com or Microsoft.com or Sony, HP, Fujitsu, or other brandings, and then you can find the exact slot of compatible RAM chip. Alright, so say mine is a Legion Y520, and then you put specs again. This is my second time mentioning these. Spec stands for specifications. If it doesn't show on Yahoo right away because the marketing at because okay, full review and benchmarks, and I'm looking for the specs, and they'll tell you, or you can just put RAM chips. RAM chip. Replacement. Upgrade, or RAM chip upgrade. And there will be a list. So this item, 16 memory, laptop. So it tells you that it comes with the 8 gigabyte, and then the original Lenovo RAM chip that they sell, or they I see something named Off-Tech. Off-Tech sounds to be branding, because, or a technical support team, or installation team, or just simply a label now. So that's good for this team, or this company, I should say. So that's how you find out, and then you can say price. So you have this crucial.com, and Crucial is a branding for SD cards and random access memory. Send this card. Alright, so you can easily see there's 8 gigabyte memory for this, and 16 gig for that. But as far as specifications, let me look that up again. You can see a whole list of your computing device, what is inside and what features and how fast. So for example, if I click here, you'll see the entire list. But for breathing and without going into the website yet, there is Intel Core i7, and then the speed is 7700. Can a lower number be faster than a higher number? Answer is yes, because of the year of release. So this is a whole list of specs. So that's the word for computers, specs. And it comes to listing of processor. These might be different. Design might talk about fans, how many fans there are to cool down the computer and keeping it cool. And people might laugh at me. I use a I use a handhold fan for the underneath space sometimes. So these are called specs. It talks about the processor, operating system is the software, or the operating system is just the background, the Windows. Other than Windows, you have Linux, but I always go with Windows, and Apple, of course. So the Mac is Mac OS. Storage, audio, battery life. You can buy external extra battery. That was my case back in the days. That's the internet, and internet modem and Bluetooth. LAN is another modem description. Ports is how many ports there are. Now, in year 2019, it's not easy to find a assembled within the computer kind of internal DVD-ROM. So, and then what do they say about design? Oh, okay. The design talks about the thickness and external case. Why do they do that? Because many desks are limited space, and I self-assembled this one. It has a drawer coming out, and this is very big for a computing desk. And then the weight is for people who might travel very often. Color, and then the preloaded softwares. What do they not talk about here on this specs is, or they lacked on this. The keyboard is important because there are a lot of foreign language keyboards. Whether they have some kind of glowing lights. I mean, there are a lot of there are many numerous description for the lights. One is interglow, or the glow. The other one might be glow in the dark, or LED lights, LED keyboards. Alright, so that's how it is. And when you have a gamer computer in a business meeting, some people might have a hesitation, so you gotta be careful. But I always buy it for the performance because of the graphic chips, because I do I have to understand 3D graphics a lot. Another reason why I can generate so much research within a season is because, let me show you. I have this desk. I can literally sit at the desk a whole day. And for example, this can come up. Can you see it? I'll go back down. Alright, sometimes when you have too many electricity appliances plugged in, so I sit and I stand up, I keep on just typing reports and making templates. So yeah, sometimes if it doesn't work, then yeah, so it comes up or go down, comes up. And I bought this from Custom Design. You can buy this at IKEA, but the weight capacity cannot withstand as much. Yeah, so these were really good, and I really admit that I try to popularize it. Alright, so that's all. Anything else? Opening the ports and renaming some of the ports. The mobile hotspot. Yeah. And then sometimes if the next day they turn it back off, then that's your naughty hello from your previous computing keyboard ever touch your keyboard people. Get you guys. So let's look at this one again. And that's all. So let's change the password earlier. Yeah, so I gotta change the password. Network, I'll change the password here. Alright, and for some reason the password doesn't hide. Can you hide the password? Yeah, but not easy. So be careful about that. Alright, have a good one.